This is an episode of one of a kind. This is an episode that I didn't really plan to make. I'm making it spontaneously, but I think that you all need it, and I think you all deserve this, and I think you deserve an episode like this. And I do not want to hold back some of the things that I've been going through, nor I want to hold back about myself. I think that there are people in this world who will understand, who will maybe try and support me, but then I know there are those so-called haters that they just hate for the matter of hating, hate for the love of hating others, and I'm fine with it. If you want to hate me. I don't care anymore. I think that it's the first step of a subject, but of the subject of change that I need to conduct. Changing myself. This will be the mission now, but it's a very difficult video that I'm making. I never really thought about making this. I just thought about maybe 5 minutes and it came up. I mean, Alex, why not make this video? Why not talk about it? Why not share some of the details that have been going on recently in your life, or that have been going on in your life for a little long, that you would never share it in the first place because you were afraid, because you were embarrassed, because you felt like it was taboo all the way. And I hope this video reaches far beyond Raw Wrestling, because it's far beyond Roblox, because this is my coming out of sorts. And no, I'm not gay, but it's my coming out with my story and coming out with my life experience, and coming out with a lot of bad feelings that I have, and a lot of bad experience that I have within my life, that I've experienced for the past 17 years of my life. My name is Alex Sampson. I'm obviously one of the most hated people in the community. Well, probably the most hated in the community, besides maybe people like Peter Cena or Cole. Basically, people who are, pedophiles, cheaters, exploiters, stuff like that. Because I speak in a way that nobody wants to listen to. And I completely get it, I understand. And I don't want to rumble about, so we're gonna get right to it. And I'm making this video before the main podcast begins as a prologue. I'm going to explain my life, but also my current state and why I've created this podcast in the first place. First off, why did I create this podcast? Exposing the business was an idea that came to me a few days ago, and it took me relatively fast to finalize. Now I have 7 guests scheduled until June 10th, with a little 4-day break in between those episodes to basically cure myself, cure my mind, reset my mind after like 5 episodes. And that's what's gonna be happening. Every 5 episodes, there will be a 4, maybe 5-day break, so I can cure myself, so I can also take time for myself. I also want to say that exposing the business is gonna be my full-time thing. Exposing the business is gonna be my full-time podcast, and I'm not gonna be yelling. I'm not gonna be very, very angry. I'm just gonna be myself. And I'm just gonna be myself on this podcast, so hopefully you will like it. Hopefully you will understand, and hopefully you will like what you're gonna be hearing, which is a paradox because nobody really likes listening to me anyway. But yeah, it's life. You need to get to learn. You need to live that. You need to learn that you need to live this. If you're not gonna live with this, you're not gonna be nobody. So yeah. Now, I want to give people space where they can talk without being not unheard, without them being criticized, without them being morally teached about you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that, because it doesn't help anybody. I mean, everyone has a different set of morals, everybody has a different set of actions that they are doing, and I mean, who am I, for example, to get in someone's life? I mean, if somebody wants to allow me to enter their life and give normal advice, that's a joy for me, because I know I'm important to this person. My opinion is important to this person, but obviously I'm not gonna get into everybody's hearts. That's just what it is. And like I've said, even my biggest haters are allowed on this podcast. Why? Because I'm not going to be like others that are censoring people that they hate. I'm not gonna be that person. If you hate me, go ahead. You can hate me. I don't really give a fuck about the haters anymore. I just want to live my own life, share my thoughts, and if somebody's gonna agree with it, well, thank you, and I appreciate you. So, getting back to the matter at hand. When I was thinking about making this podcast, I didn't really know how many people want this. But as far as I'm concerned, we have 7 episodes scheduled up until June 10th. So I think people will like this new format. And I also plan some things about this format. It's gonna be non-stop talking. We're not gonna be limiting time. Like other podcasts have 30 minutes, 1 hour limit. We're not gonna have those limits. 2 hours above, and sometimes it could be less. It depends on how much time does a person have, how much time do I have. But we're not gonna be limiting ourselves very much. We're gonna spend as much time as we can to share that person's story with all of you. My mission here is not to make this podcast about myself, but to make it about my guests. This is a podcast about making people heard, about making people understand certain subjects that are so called hated. But maybe somebody wants to say that it's fine. Well, I'm gonna give them the platform to share their thoughts. That's what I want to do with exposing the business. I want to give people a spot where they can talk freely without being criticized by me, without being morally teached about you can't do this, you can't do that, you're a son of a bitch, you're an idiot, you're a loser, retard. I mean, you know, I'm an overly emotional person. I mean, if you actually look on my reactions on certain things about going on in wrestling, you can see it. I'm an overly emotional person, but it comes from life experience that I'm going to talk about in the later part of this video. I don't know how long will this be, probably 30 minutes plus, but if you got time to listen to it in the background, I ask you to do so, because there will be no camera here. You can listen in the background, do something, go fishing, go hunting, go play football, soccer, go play basketball, read a favorite book of yours, or scroll through social media with me in the background, because that's what's gonna happen. That's how it always was. Although I don't discount that I may be doing a podcast with my face on it, on exposing the business, but I'm not ready for that yet. And I'm willing to admit it. I'm not ready for camera podcasts yet, because I've had multiple recommendations to do this, but I'm not gonna do it yet because I'm not mentally ready for that yet. To share my full self with pro wrestling and Roblox and people like that, especially now in the current community that we have going on, where pedophiles are going, doxers are going around, being unharmed because they can dox you and nothing's gonna happen to them. They gain ultimate control. So this is the major thing going on. So this is why I've created the podcast. I want people to have the space where they can talk freely without being criticized, without being morally taught about, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. And I also want to make sure that you understand the person that's sitting beside me. I want you to understand how that person thinks, how that person's emotions are, what is his opinion, her opinion about some things, and I want you to focus on my guests, not on me. So this is why the podcast was created. But now we're gonna go to that darker side of the video. I don't know if I'm gonna share graphic subjects, but I'm gonna try to be as soft as I can. But I'm sure that I'm not going to, that I cannot hide everything. So if you are really, if you don't want to listen to any graphical subjects, you can turn off the video now. You can turn off this broadcast now. So, like I've recently went to Straight Up with TJ and have shared some of the topics that people didn't know about me. For example, that I was sexting people, that I was trying to kill myself and stuff like that. I didn't tell the whole story there, so I'm gonna tell it here. So, how is my life? Somebody can ask. How did you become such a badass bastard? I mean, how could you become such a hating person? The haters will ask. Well, let me tell you how I became this person. Like I've said in the Straight Up with TJ podcast, Pro Wrestling has saved my life. And that's why I'm forever grateful for the community as a whole. That it saved my life, that it stopped me from cutting my veins with a knife. So that is the main reason why I'm very passionate about this community, is because first of all, I was influenced by Pro Wrestling when I was early, I was younger. I used to watch APRW when I was younger, and I wanted to be like those people. I wanted to be like Cyan Logic, be like Deep Pain, be like Undead Brock, be like Unstable Ken, be like Justice League. I mean, if I said him, well, it is what it is. If I said him twice, well, whatever. I wanted to be influenced by those kind of people who busted their ass, that knew what the fuck they were doing, and people who knew how to captivate you, how to make you connected, and that was the main reason of why I was passionate about pro wrestling in the first place from a younger age. Then I joined pro wrestling. I've joined pro wrestling when in 2018 December. I've roamed around for a few months, then I left. And in December 2019, I thought to myself, well, hey, I'm gonna be the next APRW, and I've created my OG federation called the WF National Wrestling Federation. And it went well. It did well. But while NWF was doing well in 2021 and 2022 periods, it was the darkest moment of my life. The darkest. Well, summer 2023 could be somehow counted in as well, a second downward spiral in my life. In 2021, my depression and pornography addiction really became seenable. It really became something that nobody could really avoid seeing in me. I was doing weird stuff. I was saying weird stuff all the time. I couldn't stop myself. I was watching every single day, doing the thing, with my hand. I mean, I'm not gonna be very graphical. Like I've said, I'm gonna try to be as soft and as avoiding of that as I can be. But yeah, I was basically addicted. I still am to this day, but not to the extent that I was back then. I was a real pervert of all perverts at that time, and you can laugh, but that's just what it is. So that is the 2021 period, especially when I also have said some things that I shouldn't have said about some people. I can say that one of the mistakes that I've made, and I didn't really share this. I mean, I've partially said it on the Straight Up with TJ podcast. I had a friend. He was for a brief period in hybrid staff called Nuclear or Falcon. And he had a family, and and somebody has said to me that, the N word, the so called N word, you know what it is. It starts with N, ends with A. You know what it is. And then I've quoted him, and I've got canceled for doing so. I've literally quoted him saying that, and the person was like, "What the fuck you doing? Did you just say the N word? Like, what the fuck you doing? What is wrong with you? You're not black, motherfucker. Get the fuck out of here." Yeah, and that's how it began. And then, I was doing weird stuff with. Do you remember the BWE stuff? When you've seen like those animations and stuff like that? Yeah, those sort of stuff. And I'm ashamed of myself. Obviously, I'm ashamed of myself because who I was. I couldn't stop myself back then. Nobody could really stop me back then. No one. Not even my closest family, not even my mother or my father. No one. Especially when I had a girlfriend, at the time, and that really shaped me. She was the destructing force of me. And I thought that, I'm gonna be with her, and especially what's going on in my school time at the time before this little girl, I'm gonna call her Vanessa, she was, before she became my girlfriend, I was involved in the trio sort with my other friend called Adam in my school days, and he used to be my bully. He used to bully the fuck out of me. But then, because obviously I was a fat ass. Well, I still am a fat ass, but that's a whole different story. I was weird, and now I see why he was, bullying me. But then I've seen that lots of things have gone on after that. The girl left him. He came to me because he saw that she was getting to me. She was into me. And he said, "Bro, do not even attempt. Do not even try to be with her. Do not even give her a chance. She's gonna rob you of your money. She's going to suck you off from money, for all the money you have. And if she's not gonna see any, she's gonna leave you immediately. She's not gonna give you any thought." I was stupid. And I didn't listen to him. And when it happened, we became friends. When he saw that I was the person just like him. Well, not entirely, but I was like him. And we became friends. We were friends for like 3 years. Our contact has stopped, but I still think good of him, even though he was my bullier and he was literally forcing me to change in a different locker room. Where, every locker room in school has this area of showers and has an area of a normal locker room. Yeah, I need to dress in showers. So yeah, that's but that doesn't matter. And going back to the story here, when that period ended, me and Vanessa became a pair. We have became a thing. I thought it was the most joyous day of my life because she really was into me and she cared about me. It seemed like she cared about me, I cared about her, and we were together for like 6 months. Then she went to the hospital because she had some problems, and I've learned about her affair. I learned that she didn't really love me. Apparently she did, like she said it, but I didn't believe it, firstly. But then when she came back, we've gone together again. We've gave each other a second chance. And after a whole year of being together, 6 months after I've given her a second chance, I listened. I was right beside her when she said, quote, "I don't know if I love him yet." And that hurt me a lot. When I've heard that, it was like the world came crashing down, like dominoes, like falling one by one. And since that happened, well, my life began to fall on a downward spiral. When that happened, I went back to my old ways. I tried to, fix myself when I was with her, but went to my old ways. We've broken up. Obviously, we've broken up shortly after. I didn't want to. I thought I could make her love me, really, but no. It was pointless. Every friend of mine, and even my parents, have said, let it go. She's not worth it. She's not worth you. She's a bitch, and she's gonna act like a bitch. And obviously, the little friend that she had with her, called Sarah, she was one of those bitches too. But she understood me. She understood me. I mean, she was doing weird shit behind my back, but she understood me at the same time. So yeah, this was a bit weird, unusual. But yeah, we've broken up. And in summer, all sorts of shit began to fall apart. Everything began to go to shits. Everything began to just fall apart like the dominoes. Firstly, my mother has experienced first health problems in a while. She went to the hospital for like 2 weeks with livers. As far as I remember, I mean, it was some time ago, like 4 years ago, but yeah, something regarding the liver. And then my stepfather has had his health scare. I mean, he has I don't know what's it called, pneumonia, I think it's called. I mean, hold up, I mean, give me a second. No, it's actually called diabetes. So yeah, he still has diabetes. He's fighting it, but yeah, he has a health scare. He was gone for like 4 weeks. And when I finished my school and I went to high school, it was an entirely different business. The girl that I hated, and she hated me, we didn't really like each other, was in my class. And she's currently in my class now. And she went right ahead and said to every person that loved to talk theories, loved to say weird things about people, she got straight to them. So yeah, you can imagine what reputation I have in my school, despite all the teachers, despite everything. My teachers still know lots of those things going on, but they still respect me, and I'm probably like one of the most promoted people in my school. Even with my all scares, like mental scares and this sexuality thing going on. But yeah, at summer of that time, I was before I came to high school, I was, let's just say, like, you have typical perverts that nut to the girls and people who have sexing. I was like 4 or 5 levels above. It was that bad. And my family, seeing what was going on with me, so they wanted to detox me. They wanted to take away my computer, take away my phone, take away everything that I had, and have a detox. I did not agree. They wanted to send me to a special institution. I did not agree. And that was a boiling point. That was the boiling point. And if I didn't try to at least hide it or fix some of those things, that I would lose everything that I was working for. I would lose my federation. I would lose my friends. I would lose my life, pretty much. So I've said I'm gonna try to get out of those addictions. And for a brief period, I did. For a brief period, I did get out of those addictions. But then, unfortunately, summer 2023, it has came back again. It has came back again, and it was, thank goodness, it was less severe, but it wasn't easy. It was disgusting. It was perverted. It was absolutely disgraceful. Believe me. very disgraceful. Thank goodness that it didn't really repeat that much anymore after that. So now we go to the current days. I wanted to have a girlfriend when I came to high school. When I came to high school in September 2023, I wanted to have a girlfriend. I wanted to change my life around. I was briefly from breaking up with Vanessa and having that little scare with Sarah that I spoke about. And I've met this little girl. I mean, she wasn't a little girl, obviously, but it's, she was 2 years younger than me. Her name was Victoria. She came to my class late because she joined in like November, like September, October. Yeah, October. And she immediately, and I immediately said, well, I'm gonna treat her like a friend. I'm gonna treat her like, she's like one of the people that, she had these beautiful eyes. I mean, she had this beautiful physique. She appeared to be stunning. She was stunning. When I saw her first, she stunned me. Really stunned me. And as it gone by, we became attracted to each other. And like in December the same year, she came in 2 months. 2 months later, we were together. In December 2023, I mean, to this day, we don't even know what happened that it basically speed run that much. But yeah, we're still together to this day. And I'm forever grateful for her. I'm grateful for everybody that, wanted to pair us up. It really came out of nowhere. Only one person, one good friend of mine, she wanted to pair us up. She thought about it, but it happened before she could do it. So I'm really grateful for her too. And now we go to current days. After that little scare, it's 2024. I'm in my class. I'm doing well. I became, I'm pretty much hated in school by some people, the haters group, so-called. Every society has a haters group. Where, people just shit on you, they say whatever the fuck they want to say, they insult you. But they don't know who the fuck are you, and they don't know what you've been through. I've been through home abuse. I've literally, one of the people, when shit was bad and I was still in my old city, because I'm not from the current city that I'm living in. I've moved in 100 kilometers away, like 50 miles away from my current city, from my old city, I'm sorry, up to my current residence. So, I literally, during one of the parties that my father had before, he turned sober, one of the closest dudes to the family, when I was, standing in my kitchen and I was watching it, I was saying, like, what the fuck's going on here? And he said, like, what was it? Get out of the house? I get out of the house or something like this. And I said, no, he slapped me. The dude who wasn't even my family member, he slapped the shit out of me. So I pushed him back and I was like, what the fuck you doing? So he got away. I've told it to my father, but he didn't really care at that time. He didn't really care. He wanted to beat him up, but yeah, my uncle has stopped him because he would be charged for assault. He was that bad. He was that pissed. He was, obviously the person was drunk, and I was sober because obviously I was a kid and I couldn't drink alcohol. No, I wanted to. So yeah, this was like one of those weird situations that I had in my life. But yeah, One of the other things that yeah, I've spoken about this, but my attraction to women. And unfortunately, this problem, even though I have a girlfriend right now and continues to this day, I'm overly sexualized. And this is really like the first time that I speak about the subject because I always thought it was taboo. But I guess whatever, fuck it. Now, since I've gone to that route, I'm gonna continue it and I'm gonna finish it like a real man should, with pride and with reflection. So there was a brief period of time where I was so fat that no girlfriend would even look at me. And I'm still in that period now. But I thought, if I'm gonna change the way I talk, the way I speak, the way I dress, the way I appear, that girls will just fall on me. And life hit me hard. Scandal after scandal, almost being thrown out of school, uh, friends bitching on me, leaving me alone, and I, you know, one thing that I regret, the thing would not even be proven that it was me if it wasn't for one picture that I've sent that had my face on it. I was standing in front of a mirror without a shirt. If it wasn't for that picture, no one could have actually confirmed that it was me, it was mine. They were mine pictures, but no. I had to be a dumbass. I had to be attracted. I had to think with my dick instead of my mouth and instead of my brain. So I went right away. And they proven that it was me. And I was punished for it. I was almost thrown out of school. Unfortunately, it was very, very close. I thought, well, I'm gonna have to move out and things like that. But fortunately, it didn't go through. And they gave me a second chance, which I used. And no further scandal like that came out. So yeah, this was a very difficult period of my life. Am I a happy person? No. Do I take any drugs? No. Do I drink alcohol? Not really. Maybe when it's New Year's Eve. I mean, it's because it's a tradition in Poland to drink some alcohol for New Year's Eve. Maybe some, but yeah, it's a tradition going on from the early 70s up till now. So obviously people are going to continue the tradition. So yeah, everybody in Poland drinks for New Year's Eve. So yeah, I'm not different on that front. But I still have problems with sexuality and that stuff. I still have a problem with it. But I want to fight it. I want to fight this because it's been ruining my life for too fucking long. It was ruining my life for too long. I've became a repulsive, disgusting human being that no one that really knows me wants to associate. And I can also see it in my private life. People are beginning to distance themselves from me again. Just like in my normal school. Just like a few years ago. Yeah, I mean, I also have a fair share of health problems. My breathing becomes harder every single day, every single meal that I eat. My ass is like, like you have those fucking Latinas that, have big asses. I'm a human being, I'm 18 years old, and I literally have asses like that. And I'm not even joking. But I'm not gonna send over. You can fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself if you think that I would send this picture over. I'm not that retarded. Not anymore. But yeah, I've lost motivation to train. I've lost motivation to learn. I've lost motivation to do anything. And the environment that I live in, it improved for some time in my private life. I've had this great period. Everything was booming. My father and my my grandfather. They were, live. They were not living together, but they were very close with each other. What's it called? Step grandfather. I think that it's a word. Step grandfather. They were close with each other. They were close with each other for years, but then he died. They had a construction company that was doing very well in my old city. They were earning tens of thousands of zloty every single month. And the business was booming. My father became sober at that time, and he got to work and he made some money. And he was working as a construction worker, but then he became like the president of the whole organization, of the whole company. But then it fallen because you know there came the people from like India and stuff like that. Those migrants that politicians want to talk about now. The migrants came to Poland, and there were other companies. Yeah, they were evolving, and they were taking far less money than my father was taking. With my grandmother, that was also the co-president of the same company, and the company had to declare bankruptcy. So not only my father, who doesn't have the money to finance himself, and now he needs to finance the grandmother as well. But now she has gone to work again. She's like 60 years old, and she has gone to work in the kitchen. So yeah, this the money period is over pretty much. Now my mother is experiencing problems with money. My stepfather now is unfortunately back to his old ways, and nobody seems to really have any influence on him. He just doesn't give a fuck. He's pretty much like me, so I understand why. But yeah, so it's not a good period in my life, I shall say, and I'm going to say something that I really shouldn't say because I'm going to hurt Hybrid, but I'm going to say it anyways because I really want to be honest. Since January, since the Royal Rumble, I've lost control over Hybrid. I've lost control over how it should go. I've lost control over the vision. I lost control of how it should be ran, how it should be done, how it should be promoted. I've lost control of storylines. I lost control of shows. I lost control of the whole federation pretty much. And now other people need to take over my roles for the federation to even continue existing. Because obviously I want to host shows because Hybrid is a very important federation to me. It's my last federation ever. Once this federation closes down, I'm going out of the community forever. I'm not coming back. So I want this federation to continue for as long as it can, for as long as it's going to be, quality based, not quantity based. But yeah, the peak was not reached yet, which makes me want to continue this federation. But if the peak would be reached, I would close it right away, pretty much. But I feel like I have a job to do. I feel like I have a mission to do to make this federation good, to make other people successful. For example, Gentleman Velocity. Jan that has came from my hand. He was in my OG Federation NWF back in 2020. He joined in. He was learning his GFX stuff back then, and I've helped him for like some period of time for how to develop on GFX and developing games and stuff like that. And look at him now. And I'm not trying to give myself too much of credit because he mostly earned himself. He earned that RWA entry by himself. But I've began the journey. He began the journey by going through me and my federation. And then look where he's now. Number one graphics designer in the community and one of the best fed owners in the community entirely. So yeah, and still sticking to the monikers that he learned in NWF, to the mental that he had in NWF, of fighting hard, not giving up, doing a federation that really interests people, and making it like a cult of sorts. He is able to do it with Velocity. He's doing it better than I can do it with Hybrid. That's the truth. He's doing it better than me now. The student really became the teacher, or how's it say? The student became the sensei, the master. Student overshadowed the master. So yeah, I mean, I'm very grateful for Jansen for what he did. So yeah, once again, congratulations if he's listening to it, or if somebody knows Jansen and wants to give him this congratulations from me. Well, congratulations, and I'm proud of you. I'm proud of everybody that came from my hand. PJ Ghana, now in the one of the alliance's staff members. People, for example, like Unforgiven Dory. Even if me and Dory have a hard time right now, I really appreciate what he's doing, and I appreciate everybody that comes to Hybrid. I appreciate everybody giving it the chance, especially nowadays with a lot of different federations. And I really appreciate people coming in, because it really, 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 really makes me want to develop, and it really tells me that I have a purpose in life. My purpose in life is to make others happy, entertained, interested, and passionate about Roblox wrestling entirely. But how can you be passionate? How can you build the passion when you have pedophiles running around, doxers all around, exploiters are around, big cleaners, auto clickers, all those fucking weirdos that don't know that they are on my period of 2021 that I've spoken about earlier, that they don't know that they are doing it wrong. That's why I want to fight people like that. That's why I want to help people like that, because I've been like them. I've been there. I know what they were going through, and I know what they are going through right now mentally, especially mentally. You need to care about your mental health. Your head is where it all starts, and I need to learn that yet, but I want to teach it to others. I know it. I'm not really able to use it yet, but hopefully it will come with time. And it does come with time. Slowly, I'm being able to do it, but I'm not fully able to do it yet. So, yeah. They don't understand that they are doing it bad. They don't understand that people do not want exploiters. That if you are bad, well, you are bad. I mean, if you're not gonna be a wrestler, you're gonna be a commentator, you're gonna be a ring announcer, you're gonna be a fed owner. You don't need to be a pro wrestler. You can also go to other communities. For example, Unstable Can. Now he has a successful basketball league when he was like one of the legends of wrestling. Because he became washed and he became retired. And he didn't want to tarnish his legacy. But you know what's the biggest challenge nowadays? Being different and building up talent. It's the hardest task now. And obtaining that main level, that top level, top quality, and maintaining it week by week by week by week by week for months, years. It's the hardest challenge that even the biggest feds cannot really accomplish. APRW also couldn't accomplish it in the long run. They couldn't. They were. I will continue to say it. APRW is the greatest federation of wrestling history. I will continue to say it. No federation had a impact like APRW did. None. Everyone on Roblox knew that this was the group to go to when you wanted to wrestle on Roblox. APRW. All out. All pro Roblox wrestling, I'm sorry. All pro Roblox wrestling. This was the fed you needed to go to. You had in Isaac Mercury, you had Silent Logic, had Justice League, Handshow, D-Pain. Undead Brock, people that really were the cornerstones, the quarterbacks. They were the pillars of Roblox wrestling and Roblox combat. You needed to go to them. That was the main thing. That they were the mans. They were the goats. They were the Mount Rushmore. Obviously, with age, you become pretty washed, and you become very, very bad. It comes with age. because you forget some things. You forget about how to talk. You forget how to move. I mean, this is normal. This is life. So yeah, this is we're gonna clean that. We're gonna clean that rug out. So, like I was saying, I'm gonna say it to end this with one thought that I have. Do not be afraid. Let doubters doubt. Let haters hate. Because at the end game, these words matter. First they laugh, then they ignore. After that, they fight you. But at the end, you win. Be yourself. Do not play a fake character. Be yourself. Be who you want to be. Do what you want to do. Do not let others dictate what you can and cannot do. But please, 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 have some morals. Know your limits. Know your role. And stick to the rules. Have some rules in the first place. Have some barriers. Have some, borders that you cannot possibly go out of. That you cannot cross. Because if you won't, you're gonna become just like me. Ruined, hated, demolished, how shall I say? Disgraceful, unforgettable but in a bad way, and disgusting person that you're not gonna be able to look yourself in the mirror, just like I wasn't able to do, and I'm not really able to do it now. I'm not able to look myself in the mirror. I'm not a happy person. I have what you call the motivation is gonna go up and down. That's my case. I don't know what's it called medically. Don't even ask me. I'm not really into this, but anyway, as you can see, my English is worse than it was a year ago. That's one of those downsides of my current state. So yeah, know your limits. Do not shoot to the moon when you're not ready for it. Take your time. Take baby steps. And most importantly, I'm gonna repeat it again, be yourself. Be appreciative. Respect others. You don't need to like others, but respect them. And most importantly, fourth time I'm gonna say it, be yourself. Do not lie to yourself about who you are. Do not try to hide who you are. Be who you need to be. Thank you. And I'm gonna see you soon on the first episode of Exposing the Business.